What's up, y'all? In this video, we're going to be discussing how to deal with the Sargent 8 line, or 7 line for that matter. These are an unusual grade 1 beast that was very popular back in the day. I've got some other ones here. I call this the stupid big rosette 8 line. This is a 7. This is a 7 line. Doesn't have anything to do with the rosette size, but you can see what I mean by stupid big rosette. But again, here we have another big rosette. I believe this is a 7 as well. But they all pretty much come apart the same way. And funnily enough, almost every one of them I have actually does not lock correctly. These just came off of doors. And when you push the button, see how the button's pushed in right there, that means it should be locked. And then when the button pops out, it's real catchy, like there. So it should be locked right now, right? Push the button in and turn it. It's in. It should be locked on the outside, but it is not. So turn it, pop it out, and it's still unlocked. So obviously something's going on with this one, but you might run across any number of these that are just functionally still good, and you have to rekey. And it's a problem because if we flip it back around, there's no screws. But if you look really close around the edge of it right there, you see that hole? There's a hole on each side that is for what is called a spanner wrench. Now these all came with their own, which is not this. This is a Schlage D-Series spanner wrench, and I use this because I don't care to keep several wrenches when this guy can accomplish the task on most of them. Now, if you don't happen to have this guy, you can use a pair of pliers. If it's broken and you're switching it out anyway, just note though, these are like $300 plus knobs, probably more than that. I hadn't actually seen the current price of this style of knob, but I'm sure it's ridiculous. But if it's broken and you've already brought new knobs and you're intent on not spending that much money on a doorknob, then yes, you can put pliers on this instead of using this. But if you're a locksmith, you should use this. So the first step is to loosen both sides. You might think, okay, well, maybe if I just loosen the inside, I'll find some kind of retainer. Yes, you will, but you can also, so what you do is you just take it just like that, put the hook in there, and we're going to unscrew, just like that. Kind of be careful. So we want to unscrew it. You still can scratch it, so if for some weird reason it is in pristine condition, you're just going to want to be a little careful. So we've got the inside unscrewed. Now I usually come in and just come all the way off. Now, you still don't really have enough of a gap to do what we need to do. So you always have to loosen the outside as well. So in the case of it still operating, let's see if we can find that hole. There it is. Nope, is that the wrong way? That is the wrong way. So we're going to flip this over. Find the hole again somewhere in here. If it is still operating and you're just rekeying it, then sometimes you can just pull off. Of course the phone's going to ring while I'm trying to do a video. But either which way, you do have to loosen both sides. All right, be right back. Asking how much a key is. Okay, so we've got, we were backing it off, so we're unscrewing it the rest of the way. We're gonna loosen both sides, and what that'll do is give us a way to get into the retainer. Now, just to make this easy, I'm gonna show you on, say, this one. But what you're doing is let me get behind the camera so we can see what we're doing. Now that we've got this gap created, right, what we're doing is we're looking down the edge, just like this, if we loosen this up, same way, and we're going to be turning the knob, and you'll see 2 holes on each side, these holes right here, and then these holes out here. At one of those points in the hole, you will see that retainer right there. So you may see it on this side, you may see it on that side. However, hey, good catch, Jason. You will only be able to get it to come off from one of those two sides. So if we squeeze in here just like this, let me get the camera set up. Let's just zoom in a little bit right here. If we're just, let's just say we're rekeying this, so we're going to try to just pull the outside knob off. You can do that. And if it's, you don't have to have, you can leave the rest on. Now, if it's broken, obviously you would need to pop the inside knob off, but okay, we're trying, okay, there we go. So we get a long screwdriver, and this one, I'm using this where, with a 3.0 tip, and I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna press this down, and by loosening both sides, that gives you as much of an opening as you can get. So we're gonna press that down. Now, this is kind of the hard part. This actually came off fairly easy. Okay, so see what we were doing there? That wire holds that retainer in, and when you're pushing it, it pushes it down. And if you have problems doing it, sometimes you have to watch out for that falling off, and sometimes you actually can't just push it like this. Sometimes you got to get that screwdriver way down in there to get that thing to pull off, but that's just the case. All right, set that aside because we're going to go rekey it, but in this instance, let's just pretend like it's broken, which it is. So we got to take this inside knob off too. We're going to kind of wiggle it around. And, okay, so the knob's not turning, so that's a problem. What I do there is I'll push something through to free it up. And there it goes. All right. And once again, I'm going to turn the knob until I can find that retainer. Push it in just like that. Pull the knob off. And so we see this thing comes out. There's something going on with that to cause this not to lock. We're going to unscrew it the rest of the way. And if you are simply switching these locks out, you're done with this video, because now it's just a matter of locating the pin right here. It could be on the inside, it could be on the outside, it could be put in either which way, but that pin needs to come out, so we're just going to grab it just like that, slip it right out. And as with any deadbolt, go ahead and unscrew your screw, because this won't come out until you get the latch out of the door. So we'll get the latch out of the door. Nick, come on. Just like that. And use the drill. Oh, Jason. So I'm going to slip that latch out, and then that's it. So now you can switch it out. However, as a locksmith, we're going to go ahead and put this back in. And we'll see what happens. See what happens when this goes into this. In theory, it is supposed to unlock it and pull the latch back, and the other side is supposed to do the same thing. I don't know what's going on with this one to cause it not to lock. I think there might be a piece missing on there. But now let's just go ahead and rekey this, because again, as a locksmith, that's what we were going to be doing. So we'll put this back in just like that. Put our pin back in, and you can actually put that interior back on. I would advise putting the pin on the interior side. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Maybe in a future video we'll do a what's inside and figure out what the heck's wrong with that guy. But in the meantime, if it was in operable condition, we would put that back on, and we would simply push this on and turn it until it engages. And push, turn until it engages. And then remember, it's a little wonky, so it's not going to work. But if it was in operating condition before, it should push in normally. You should be good to go. All right, let's move over to the bench. All right, first step is going to be determining what kind of key blank it uses. It could use anything from the L series to the R, the RA, RB, H, C, any of the sectional keys. This one actually uses the L1010N, which I think is the S69. That's it. It could be a U, it could be a S4. They've been using these things since like the 40s or 50s, so any number of key blanks it could be. First off, this thing's probably cracked, but it's almost always there. We're going to go ahead and slip this off and push that down to get it out of the way. And don't worry about it being cracked. And then you have your cover here. So pop that off. And you're faced with a roll pin. That's what that is. We got to get that out of there. So we're going to grab a punch. I think I'm going to use a 3/32 punch for that. Looks like it. So just put it down on a firm surface. And grab your hammer and just hammer it down into the knob. You don't have to try to pull it out. So hammer it down into the knob with your hammer just like that. And it's in there. We just retrieve it by unscrewing it. Now, hold this over something because there is a spring that sometimes comes out. Is it in here? It is in here. This guy, sometimes it comes out, sometimes it stays in. Just really depends, but it should be stuck on the end of the cylinder. See, it's fatter on one end, so the little end goes in there. Obviously, it doesn't go like that. That would be silly. And then goes into this section of the, I guess you could call this the control mechanism. We don't have to take this apart. I'm just showing you. Take that out. So that goes in like that. And in our cylinder, we're going to get it out. And we see 2 slits, one on each side. And that will allow you to pull the cylinder out. Now, get your roll pin out to reinstall. Take the clip off just like any other lock, just like this. Shim it. Good thing about these is you do not have to pick it, you know, obviously, unless you're locked out of the room or something, but if you have access to the inside, you should just be able to pop it off, shim it, and go about your merry way. So, because Sargent can be a booger to pick sometimes, for sure. They definitely have higher, hey, no, get under that. All right, let me show you something. See that pin? That can cause grief. There's actually an HPC follower. Where is it? Where's my brass follower? In case y'all did not know what this was for, it is for these locks. In case you did not know, and mine is kind of a little bent in, so let me bend that back out just a bit. That is exactly, I've been meaning to show y'all that in case you didn't know. See how that's exactly what that's for. In case you've always wondered what that silly slot in that is for, it is for Sargent 8 line. Ooh, this one's master keyed. 5 pin, so that would be the 1010 in, not the L1010 in. We're just gonna 0-bit it, I guess. Nope, too much for 0-bit. That pin totally didn't go in there. So we're just gonna 0-bit it and put it back together. This is not a rekeying video. This is just how to get this sucker apart. So we'll 0-bit it and reinstall, just like that. Again, we can get this shove out the way. Again, slide that down. Hey, focus. Slide that down the slot, just like that. And it makes it a bit easier getting back together. See how it's not in the slot? It's hard. No, there we go. That's because it was not bent right. So there we go. That is what that guy's there for. All right, it works. Yay! Now put our clip back on. Put our cylinder back in this. Now, this is always kind of one of those things where you may not be putting it back together. It only goes in one way. So we'll put it in and then we're going to turn it. Now, as to whether it goes up like that or like this, that is, yeah, it doesn't really matter because as we're putting this guy back on, it's going to spin. So what we'll do is we can either balance that. We'll put this back in here, just like this. That pin controls that, so that's what that's for. Now, like again, you don't have to take this out. It's actually kind of best that you don't take this guy out because it can be a little troublesome getting back together. See, go this way. No, go this way. It'll only go one way. Oh, is that the way? Oh, nope, almost. Almost. Hold on. Let's get this lined up. This is exactly why you don't take it apart. Leave it together and it's perfectly fine. All right, so carefully just come in and make sure that spring, see the spring jumped off? We don't want that. As long as the spring gets in the hole, it should self-guide itself. Yep, there we go. Okay, now, and we're just going to turn it. It doesn't sit flush yet, but we're just going to kind of, there it goes. Got it in where it's supposed to be. Yep, yeah, you'll see the cylinder is spinning while I'm doing this. Okay. Tighten it down all the way and back it off until we find the hole. Right there. Should be a little, after you tighten it all the way, you should just be able to back it off a bit. And we're going to push our pin back down in there. I think you could probably use a bigger punch at this point, so it doesn't so it's not so hard balancing on there. There we go. Perfect. Get it just flush with the surface. Put this back on. Put your thing back on here, and let's go put it back on. All right, before we get it back on, we need to make sure this latch is tight in its hole. Yep. Because when we tighten it down, the latch needs to be where it needs to be, right? Okay. Now, just a matter of throwing the outside cylinder in. This is kind of the part where you're always like, oh Lord, please, please let this work. And it'll work. If not, you just have to pop it back off. So we're gonna go ahead and get this started. Just, where are you? And get my hand free. Pretty fine threads there. So there we go, there we go. We're gonna go ahead and tighten it all the way down until we cannot anymore. And then we're gonna bring in our spanner. It kind of self-centers itself. So, no big deal there. And we're gonna do this with the key cylinder up, right? So the retainer part right there, sticking up. I'm gonna put this in and just wiggle, 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 wiggle. Oh, well, it caught. That's it. So now, obviously we're missing something. See if it started working. The inside knob locked, but the outside knob has not. There's something wrong with this guy for sure, but that's not the point. The point is if we're free keying it. And now we, of course, come in and tighten it down, which is going this way. Oh no, the door doesn't usually move like that, y'all. Come on, where are you, hole? Yeah. Old Sargent 8 lines. They probably still make them. You know, you don't see many of these at all anymore. You especially don't see them with these big old stupid rosettes. Stupid rosettes. Where's that hole? Phew, that's a little too tight on that side, I think. So we're going to go to the inside here and tighten it down. Luckily, again, it kind of self-centers, but you want to tighten them equally. Just like that. So there we go, y'all. If indeed this lock works still, you would have yourself a heat up, ready to go. Oh, it almost did something there. This is backed off a little much. In all honesty, I would probably back this out a little bit and then tighten this side down, because to me that looks a little off. So I know this is just a video on how to, but I can't do that. Come on. All right. Yeah. I can't do that. Leave it like that, because somebody's gonna be like, "That is not centered, Jason." So we'll get it a little bit more centered. But in the meantime, that is how you service the Sargent 8-line and 7-line locks with that funny setup and no visible screws. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments on this or any other videos, post them in the comment section. I or others will try to assist you. Yeah, thanks for watching. Good luck. I recall the very first time I ran up on one of these. It was for a big department store. And I got sent out thinking to myself, I can do this. I can do this. Oh. Several hours later, figuring it out, because I didn't have Reddit Locksmith to run to, or Google, or anything to figure it out. I had a radio, and I didn't get good reception on the radio. So that's how you take apart a Sargent 8-line and or 7-line heavy-duty lock, if it's actually still working. I've got a pile of them here that are broken. So, yeah, I don't know why I keep them, except to do videos like this. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a great one. Good luck if you ever run up on one.